basically, I think I can freely say it, Mark Levine is trying to pass legislation right now that will disproportionately affect poor people and people of color. I'm sorry if I seem like I'm in a bit of a bad mood, but I just had to finish writing a letter to my local assembly member in the state of California. This is something that I think most people kind of missed. I definitely missed this one. I'm not sure how exactly I missed this bill. This bill is something that would actually price out poor people from being able to exercise their right to keep and bear arms. Most people aren't like you, where you own many firearms, maybe purchase thousands of rounds of ammunition at a time, and it's a fun hobby as well as an exercise of enjoying your rights, having the means to protect yourself and others. Some people might own one small handgun, maybe a cheap gun like a High Point or a Taurus, something like that, and maybe just have enough ammunition to understand how it shoots, and that's all they can afford because they need a firearm to protect themselves on their day-to-day lives. And that's the unfortunate situation for many people. Not everyone is as affluent as others, and not everyone is as fortunate as people maybe like in a position like where I am. And it's those people that are going to be affected by this bill. This bill is something that would add an additional $25 tax to every firearm purchase and an unknown sales tax on ammunition. This is something that would not do anything to actually stop any amount of violent crime. This is something that will only affect law-abiding citizens and specifically poor people and more disproportionately people of color who might be affected by whatever it is, the situation that life dealt them. Here is the firearms policy, cagunammotax.com. I'm going to have a link to that down in the description, so if you want to read more about this, firearms policy has dealt with this kind of thing before. Last year, Assemblymember Mark Levine, the person who basically, I think I can freely say it, Mark Levine is trying to pass legislation right now that will disproportionately affect poor people and people of color. You can take that to the bank, that's a fact. So we look at this bill, AB1223, and the Firearms Policy Coalition is saying strongly oppose this. What it does, imposes a $25 tax on guns and a tax on ammunition. Now you might notice that it specifically mentioned the amount of money that will be taxed on every gun purchase, but not necessarily how much on ammunition. That's because the amount of percentage on ammunition sales in California that they would want to tax is unknown. At this point, at the time that Mark Levine wrote this bill, he did not have an exact percentage that he wanted to put on ammunition in order to tax it to do whatever it is they wish to say that they are pretending that they want to do. The thing is, if they knew what they wanted to do, if they knew that their goals would be achieved by this route and this action, they would know how much percentage they want to tax on ammunition to raise that money to do those actions to stop whatever it is crime, whatever crime that they're saying that they want to pretend like they're doing something about. But they don't know the number, so they haven't written the number. It's going to be something arbitrary, but it's going to be something that negatively affects you and your ability to keep and bear arms, especially if you are poor. So if you go to the bill text here, I'm going to have this link down below. I think the reason that I might have missed this was because this was originally added into here on February 19th. That was actually my birthday. Happy birthday, me. I, around that time, also purchased a Mac 11. That is legal. That's in the background. I just picked that up the other day. I'm going to go shoot it for the first time tomorrow. If you guys want a little teaser, maybe a little 50-second shorts, YouTube shorts kind of thing, let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see me shoot that thing. I'm very stoked about it. My favorite part is reading here. I'm not going to read this to you too much because I know that it's going to give you an aneurysm. So I'm going to read this first one though. Firearms sold by gun dealers contribute to unacceptably high rates of gun violence in communities across California. Dealers are the leading source of firearms trafficked to illegal markets, often through straw purchases as well as preventable losses or thefts. Data from the ATF indicates that from 2016 to 2018 alone, licensed dealers in California reportedly losing track of nearly 1,200 firearms from their inventories. The true number of these misplaced firearms included unreported losses is likely substantially higher. There's a few things that I want to talk about this here. This first sentence seems kind of inflammatory, but it's one of those ones that is technically correct because at one point a gun was sold from a dealer and then after it is stolen or sold through a straw purchase on illegal black markets, it was still at one point a firearm that was sourced from a gun dealer. California has pretty strict gun laws. It seems like none of those seem to stop it, but they're just going to conveniently ignore that. And then they talk about the ATF. They have the audacity to talk about the ATF when it comes to unknown gun losses. When ATF actually gave the fucking cartels 50 caliber machine guns, they lost them And then some of them turned up in the United States after they sent them down to Mexico? Cool. Yeah, let's think that the ATF is all high and mighty. Let's talk about how many firearms law enforcement loses on average every year. Let's talk about that. Think about how many times you have seen a news article about a law enforcement officer that either left their firearm somewhere or left it unsecured, at which point it was stolen from a vehicle. Seems like that's going to be happening a whole lot often, but they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that because they want the unions, they want the police unions to support these bills. The police unions and police officers love gun control bills. They absolutely love them because they get carve-outs, they get exemptions, something that in this bill, there is a law enforcement exemption, meaning that law enforcement doesn't have to pay the money for their tax every time they buy ammunition or guns for their stuff. Why is that? Why do you think that they are writing these carve-outs? They're writing these carve-outs so that they can continue to take away our rights while still giving law enforcement the little pat on the back while they pretend like they like them, even though these same politicians are screaming defund the police while they don't actually do anything. Whole bunch of do-nothing-ass bitches, if you ask me. Now here's the thing, I'm sorry that I'm cursing, but this is one of the things that truly gets me fired up. You guys are the reason gun control bills get passed, because when they get to slap a sticker on it saying, look at this, police union XYZ says this is great, pass this bill, it makes all the Karens in the suburbs think, oh yeah, this is a good bill, the police are on our side, they love this bill. Yeah, no, this is something that's going to disproportionately affect poor people. I'm going to leave a link down to Assemblymember Mark Levine. Assemblymember Mark Levine is unfortunately my assembly member, but I went ahead and I actually wrote a message to him. I'm going to be calling him often. This bill is one of the few bills that we can actually probably stop. When you word this bill, when you contact these legislators about this bill, because it would have to pass with a 2/3 vote in the state assembly and whatnot, this bill will disproportionately affect poor people, and it will disproportionately affect people of color. And that's something that they pretend to care about. And the thing about this bill, currently, if you were a first-time gun buyer and this bill passed, if you wanted to buy a firearm, you would first have to pay $25 to do the firearm safety certificate test, meaning that you're going to have to take a test, do some stuff, pay $25. Okay, that's $25 down. Then, when you do the background check, you're going to have to pay the state $37 to perform the background check, a service that in many states is free and costs nothing. So at that point, you got $37 and $25. If this bill passes, every single firearm purchase that you buy from a dealer new is going to be another $25. So for your first firearm purchase that you're going to go to a dealer and buy, you're going to have to pay $87. Fun fact, this Phoenix HP 25CA that I bought in the state of California is on the state California handgun roster. This would cost about $100. So you're paying more on just the fees to the state to be able to buy this gun, which if you leave a comment down below and you are someone that is maybe maybe you're not doing so well financially, you have no firearms, no way to protect yourself, and you live in Sonoma County, leave a comment down below. I will get in touch with you. This is going to be yours. We're going to give this thing away legally through a FFL. We'll talk more about that later. Maybe just leave a comment. I'll find someone that needs it is going to get this. To buy your first firearm, it would be $87 if this passed. Then let's say you want to buy 1,000 rounds of ammunition and they went for something like a 10% tax. 1,000 rounds of ammunition for a gun in 9mm right now, a decent price would be about 50 cents per round, so $500. You're putting another 10% tax on that, and then every time you want to buy ammunition after that, what is that going to actually do? Because we've already kind of shown that they don't know exactly what it is they want to do with the money because there's no set amount of money that they want in mind already. If they knew what they wanted to do before writing this bill and proposing it like this, they would have that percentage figured out. They would have the amount of money that they would be targeted to need every year. But they don't. They don't have that publicly posted yet. So it seems as if they're just trying to tax people. What this is going to do is keep people from getting good with their guns. What's going to happen is you're going to have a bunch of people that have no idea how to handle their firearm, can't afford to operate it often enough to actually exercise their rights to be able to protect themselves adequately, meaning more unsafe gun owners. It's not what you want. You don't want that at all. It's kind of the exact opposite of what you want as someone who's going for gun safety. They talk about, oh, we should require training and whatnot, but then they try to do everything they possibly can to make training and accessing a firearm as expensive as possible meaning that the people that access them are most likely going to be unable to actually afford to shoot them as often as would be required to reach that level of gun safety that they're so hardly striving for. If you live in Sonoma or Marin County and you're under Mark Levine, please reach out to him. Contact him as often as possible. I think there might be enough Republicans and might be enough Democrats that we could sway to get this left in the committee and not make it out and not actually pass. This is a bill that has had similar iterations by Mark Levine, who, once again, wants to pass a bill that would disproportionately affect poor people and people of color. But yeah, so this is a bill that has been defeated in the past, and it's why I'm ultimately going to recommend that you reach out to Firearms Policy Coalition, make a donation, and then reach out to your state lizard overlord, whatever it is, whoever you have to vote for or vote against, reach out to them and tell them not to support this bill. AB1223 in the state of California needs to be stopped. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. For those of you that are interested in this gun and you want to know more about how I was able to get this legally in the state of California, leave a comment down below. I'm most likely going to be shooting it tomorrow. If you're interested in seeing me just, a quick little shooting video, maybe 50 seconds at the most for a YouTube short, something like that, let me know, and I might record some stuff and just kind of show you some shooting footage. A lot of people keep saying that they want to see me do more shooting on this channel, but every time that I shoot guns and make a gun review, people don't really watch it. So either people are lying or YouTube isn't feeding that video to people often enough. If you want to see some videos of me shooting guns instead of just talking about bills that we hate and stuff that we don't like going on, I'm going to have a link to the playlist, or you can look at my playlist section. There should be a playlist just Reno shooting guns, something like that. And you can see videos of me shooting and enjoying the shooting sports for what they are. Something fun to do, as well as an important right to recognize and respect. Thank you.